must move the magnets.
Thank you. Thank you for your service, David.
Thank you for your services of moving the magnets. Why is that reminding me of Metro Man from Megamind? His heart is an ocean within an ocean. Why is it reminding me of that? That doesn't make any sense.
Take a minute. So, why the boys are not in the room? What happened with our friend yesterday?
He's here.
What did he do?
He was.
I didn't get a note. I didn't get anything.
Oh, really? She said she left it now.
I don't know if she did. I don't know where she left it.
Good morning, Logan.
I didn't get it.
Don't you leave.
Oh, here we go.
What's good?
Found it. Okay. Good morning, Logan.
I don't want to talk about what happened yesterday. It was irrelevant. It felt pretty. My behavior was pretty stupid anyways.
No problem. We don't have to talk.
By the way, did you get over what happened?
Did I get over what happened? What am I supposed to get over? What you did?
Yes, it was desperate as heck.
Well, I don't have anything to get over, so I'm not too worried about it.
By the way, does the class need this little house on Maple Street books?
Not today. We have to start a new unit today.
Do we turn in the books?
I
Tomorrow
have
or
to
the day
schedule
after?
it with the library. I've emailed her, but I haven't heard back.
Oh, okay.
We actually have to, she has to like, no kidding, give us an exact time. And then she's got other things going on. She tries to make it the same day for both my periods. So it turns into a thing. Really quick, since there's only one candidate.
Well, David and Everett and Maya are outside.
Because I have no idea. Yeah. Yeah. It's just something to be aware of. Nice, right? I will. Really quick. This is an assignment I gave the kids. At the beginning of the year, so you to her.
Oh, yeah, no, I helped her.
Oh,
figure
okay.
it out.
Yep, okay. Okay, good. So you saw it.
I didn't read all of it.
We've got lots of things going on.
Yeah, it's cold out there.
It is very cold out there. Why are you outside? It's so very cold out there.
Well, those are two things to keep in mind.
I know. Yeah. I do it.
No, that's like really valuable information.
So part that's difficult is to remember all that valuable information.
Yeah. Well, and also
That's
think
why
of
it's
like,
in there, so I can go back and look if I need to.
and also think of like scaffoldings around you.
Mm-hmm. Look at you, big teacher word.
That's how I decide.
Did you show him? You emailed. Brady, you just see if you saw the email. All right. Mr. David.
Hmm? Since
here all
I've been here.
week.
Make sure you're on time and it's not working. So, quick vote, yay or nay on the sub from yesterday? Did you guys like her? Yeah, she was nice?
Logan.
Alright, well, we won't worry about that, let's focus on what you like. You did like her? Yeah,
She was very relatable. Of
Yeah.
How she said she was very similar to us when she was our age.
oh yeah?
She told us how she hated when people told her that she wasn't doing something correctly. She said, quote unquote, it ticks me off more than anything.
Well,
She also got the campus security on me and told me and made up a lie about me when she
Oh
got
my
that
God.
security when I had to do my quiz.
well, you can stay and do your quiz tomorrow after, class and do it during intervention, okay? We'll get the quiz done tomorrow,
Have a good-
after intervention.
Okay. Or how about on
I didn't get your letter.
how about on
Did
Monday?
I send it?
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
think she
How about on Monday?
replied to
Is
your.
that a good deal?
Email?
Is
Yeah,
that
the
a good deal?
original email.
I didn't get to it then.
Oh, okay.
I was going through my
Actually,
emails and at some
I-
point I got so tired that I just didn't keep going through my emails. So I got one and I put that in the grade book. So I'll look for that one today and try to get that other one in the grade book. But, so from today on, you'll just start keeping up with everybody because we're starting a whole new unit.
Okay.
So sub was good, so I can put her back in for another day?
Yep.
Good to
Sure.
know. Great. This is not the right slide. I don't know why it won't go up to the one I want it to.
You can exit.
That's all right, we'll just go this route. All right, so we're gonna start a new unit today. Yay, we finished House on Mango Street, it's all done. We do need to turn the books back in. So if you have any paragraphs or any assignments that you haven't finished and you need the book for it, Logan,
Want me to buy one on Amazon? I need to
no. You don't need to buy it on Amazon. The PDF is on my Canvas page, so if you need to look something up, you can look at the PDF or listen to the audiobook. But we have to turn the books back in next week. So we'll get that turned, we'll get the books turned in next week. But we're gonna start a whole new unit on prose versus poetry. So who knows what the difference between prose and poetry is? Any idea?
I know poetry is.
Poetry? What can you tell me about poetry, David?
Only a quote from James Lucas.
Who's James Lucas?
The director of the Star Wars.
That's what I thought. Okay, I was right. I didn't know, but I was right. What's your quote?
Oh, it's George Lucas.
George Lucas. There you go. See, that probably threw me off a little.
Yeah.
So what's your quote?
Like, it's like poetry, they rhyme.
Some poetry does rhyme, yes.
Yes.
Poetry is like almost a story, but it's like told in a fancy way.
So it can be, that's narrative poetry when it tells a story. So there's the rhyming poetry, which could still tell a story. There's narrative poetry that does tell a story.
Then I guess it's just writing.
It's another form of writing. Now, when we were reading House on Mango Street, or you're reading a book, that is not poetry. So poetry is words arranged in lines to form a rhythm. The words are used as a blend of sound and imagery to create an emotional response. So your book or your poetry is supposed to either make you feel happy, or make you feel sad, or make you think about something, right? It's supposed to get some kind of emotional response. Poetry is difficult to find, but most people know it when they read it. A lot of times we'll see where it's broken up into pieces. Anybody know what those pieces are called? So prose is the ordinary language people use in speaking or writing. The most common writing of prose is novels and short stories.
I can.
So if you're reading a magazine or a book
Or one of my stories.
or one of your stories, that would be prose. So do you see kind of what the difference is between prose and poetry? So when we talk about how poetry is broken apart, they use stanzas. A A stanza is a part of a poem made by arranging the lines into units separated by a space. So if you look up here on this page, see how you can see the separation? Some lines have 3, some lines have 4, some lines have 2, but they're separated by a space.
Yep.
And that's generally how they'll do it. Not always. Also, there's a rhythm, and that's the recurrence of stresses and pauses in a poem. So we've got stanzas and rhythm, which we do not have in prose. All right.
Prose does all that.
Yeah, prose is just like we normally talk, right? So there's lots of different kinds of poetry. We're not gonna cover them all. There's more than 15. We don't need to learn all of them right now. There's blank poetry, rhymed poetry, narrative poetry, which is the one that tells the story. Epic poetry. Anybody heard of epic poetry?
As in like action.
Kind of. Mr. Pastorian, what do you know about epic poetry?
I know that it's used a lot when like telling a story, but like a story about like a specific event that's like really like special and like it's used to talk about like a battle a lot of the time.
Exactly. It's usually used to talk about a battle.
That's what I said, like
There's
action.
free verse poetry. There's haiku poetry. Did you guys learn those in elementary? I think you guys had to write a haiku in elementary. A limerick is a type of poetry. A sonnet is a type of poetry, and then there's a whole bunch more. We're not going to learn all of them at this time. You just need to know there's more than one kind. So figurative language. Anybody remember what that is? We've talked about it a few times before.
It's like using like phrases or like something that most people use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like some symbols or icons.
Figurative language is the use of words, phrases, and symbols to evoke a mental or sensory image. So figurative language makes you see what's going on. So it's not,
Actually showing it.
so they use words to make you really visualize a picture. So when we're doing that, we want to be able to see with clarity the bigger picture of what they're trying to show you. And then repetition. We know what that one is, don't we, Logan? That's when you repeat the single letters, the sounds, the words, the phrases. We had a lot of repetition in House on Mango Street.
Yep.
They started with the same phrase a lot, or they start with the same word a lot. So we're really good at that one.
Isn't that like assonance?
Assonance can be, assonance is the same phrase over and over again.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's similar.
But if you use repetition instead of assonance, you know that I'm gonna be okay with it, because we do not have to be that specific all the time. But it's for emphasis, balance, and rhythm. So if you're saying something over and over, do you really mean it?
Yeah.
Usually. They're trying to make sure you understand this is a big deal. Alright. We're gonna keep on going. So, really quick, we're gonna go over the rhetorical devices that we've worked on before. Remember we put these in our notes? And remember we have the worksheet, and we've been using them in our paragraphs. So, Amaya, do you know what an anecdote is? Will you read it?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the first one.
I like being
So a narrative is an anecdote is a short narrative of an incident in the life of a person. So in
Like an event.
an anecdote, they're giving you a short story, a very quick. So if I told you a very quick story about something that happened to me, that would be an anecdote.
Yeah, it's like the quick version of a long story.
Yes, quick version of a long story.
Like me trying to like explain like a Harry Potter book, for example, I can be like, oh, there's this wizard named Harry, he meets a couple friends, he goes on a train, meets a
Right,
pen
but with an
pal.
anecdote, it's something that happened in your life. So it wouldn't be about a story. You would be telling me something that happened
Right.
in your life, the short part of it.
Yeah.
What about repetition? Who wants to tell me what that is? Everett?
Repetition, the exact or
Approximate?
approximate copy of any sound, word, phrase, sentence, or grammar pattern.
Good. Anaphora? David, you want to do anaphora?
The same expression is repeated at the beginning of two or more
a sentence?
Yeah, or sense.
Or sentences. And we saw that in what book were we reading? That
Um,
we saw so many anaphoras and repetitions?
Probably housing.
Awesome, English, good. Alright, word choice. So diction is the author's word choices, their clearness or effectiveness. Sometimes they get really big words and make you think about it. There's usually a reason behind using big complex words and sentences. Or sometimes they get very simple, trying to make it super hyper focused where you really see the point. So depending on when you see something like that, you can say the author used diction when he used complex words, or the author used diction when they used really simple words and they were very clear. Euphemism, who remembers what that is? Do you remember what a euphemism is? No? That's when we say, remember we talked about the baby? What happened with the baby in Mango Street, the baby that passed? The baby passed.
She was Avery.
Oh, it's like the nicer version of something that like was bad. Instead of saying like, oh, my grandpa died a couple of weeks ago, and then I could say he has gone to heaven.
Exactly. A euphemism, Amaya, is when you say it in a kind of a nicer, prettier, softer way that's not so blunt.
Or he's been.
So
touched
instead
by
of
God.
he died, you say he went to heaven, or he's
He's
with
been
the
touched by
angels,
God.
or yeah, he's with God. That's a euphemism. That's when you make it sound a little less harsh than what it really is. So hyperbole, which looks like hyperbole, and sometimes I say hyperbole because it's just fun for me.
Yeah.
That's a figure of speech using deliberate exaggeration or an overstatement. So if I say I love you to the moon,
Yeah.
am I really going to the moon?
No.
So that would be a
Hyperbole.
hyperbole. Good. So you use those euphemisms all the time, those hyperboles all the time. A figure of speech using deliberate exaggeration, an overstatement. And I think I just broke my clip. Darn it all. Darn it. Okay, tone. So we've got tone and mood. We're gonna talk about that a lot in poetry. Tone and mood. So tone is the author's attitude
Or opinion.
or their opinion of the content or the audience or both. So it's what the author's telling you to feel. It's not how you feel, but it's what the author's telling you to feel.
Like Pixar shorts.
Could, yes. Very good. You remember those? That's awesome.
Yes.
All right. Comparisons we know. Metaphors, similes, contradictions, and juxtapositions, and oxymorons, and personification. Those are all comparisons,
Okay,
right?
2 of those I don't know.
2 of those you don't know. David, which 2 do you not know?
Justification and oxymoron.
All right, juxtaposition, when 2 things are placed closely together for comparison or contrast. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of the night, like a rich jewel in Ethiopia's ear. So, I always like the yin and yang sign.
Yeah.
When you're taking 2 things that are completely opposite and you're putting them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
But they are similar in a way.
juxtaposition is more for contrast.
Yeah.
So, differences like day and night would be a juxtaposition.
They're like antonyms of.
Almost, yeah,
up and
very good,
down,
yeah.
left and right,
And
back
then,
and forth.
what was the other one, David?
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron, a label that can, okay, yeah, that's one of the fun ones too. So shrimp is still small, right, Amaya? But you can call it jumbo shrimp. We know it's a big shrimp, but it's still small, right? So you're saying jumbo and shrimp. Shrimp means small. Like it's usually if you call somebody, which we never want to do, call somebody a shrimp. Oh, he's a shrimp. That would be calling him short, right?
I saw like a video on YouTube that actually expressed jumbo shrimp for like a plot. Like it helped during the plot because like the robots are attacking. And
Okay.
someone said, why did they call them jumbo shrimp? And they're just like, what?
All right.
Because, jumbo means big and shrimp means small, so.
That would be an oxymoron. So every time you hear something like that, you'll know what that is.
It doesn't mean like a very, very big shrimp. It means like a big shrimp, like for an average size of a shrimp.
It means a big shrimp. Yeah.
And it's the robot actually split.
So it's just saying a big word to describe something small?
Yeah.
Or deafening silence. Is silence really deafening?
Nope.
No.
Death is usually silent.
Silent but
or
deadly.
deathly silent, yeah.
What about silent but deadly?
Alright, and we know personification, Maya, that's giving human qualities to something non-human. We use that one a lot. So, an example of personification,
Mr. Myers classroom.
the sun was calling to me. Can the sun call you?
No.
No. So, I would be giving
Human traits to something
exactly.
non-living.
Alright, descriptive language. We use imagery and, is our descriptive language. And that's kind of like the figurative language. So descriptive language and figurative language are very similar. Things that make you see things, hear it. If it's a sound, you hear it. If it's a smell, like if I start talking about the sweet potatoes roasting and the turkey roasting, you can start seeing them and smelling them and tasting them.
Imagery.
So that's imagery. Illusion, you know, that's mine. If,
Your favorite.
it's my favorite. Illusions when you talk about another book when you're talking. So if you're reading something and they start talking about another book or another piece of poetry, that would be an illusion.
It is
You
a
know, I
reference.
thought of like illusion as like stage magic. It's the illusion.
The wrong kind of illusion.
Yeah.
You mean illusion as in like ILL?
Yes.
illusion?
Illusion for seeing things
It's
versus
it's
illusion.
kind of confusing because they both sound the same.
Yeah. They sound very similar, but illusion with an I is what you cite. Illusion is when you're talking about another book or actor or per character in a story. Onomatopoeia, the word that sounds like the word of the situation is named for, like splash.
Splash.
Splash is supposed to represent the sound. Buzz is supposed to represent the sound.
Yeah.
And then,
Splash.
alright.
Totally.
So, this is our first poem, and I picked this one because when I was in elementary school, the teacher got very excited when I told her my name was Sarah Stout. Can you figure out why she would think it would be super exciting when she heard my name?
It's a poem.
My name was Sarah Stout growing up,
Yeah.
and the girl in this poem is Sarah Stout.
Oh my
So
gosh.
she got crazy excited, and I got really embarrassed.
So she's just like, yes! And you're just like, what?
So this is a poem. Notice it's not separated into stanzas. It's a poem all the same. And we're gonna read it really quick. Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout. My middle name's not Cynthia or Sylvia. It's
I
Lynn.
can think of.
Would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hams, and though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply wouldn't take the garbage out. And so it piled up to the ceilings, coffee grounds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window, it blocked the door. With bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peach pits, orange peel, gloppy glumps of cold oatmeal. That's a pretty, can you see gloppy glumps? They're really good at making you see it, right?
Yep.
What's
We
up,
use a
Logan?
lot of imagery.
That kind of poem feels like some kind of Dr. Seuss book.
I was gonna say
It does feel a little like a duck. This is Shel Silverstein.
Remember that book we read, like Fish Cheeks?
Mhm.
This kind of reminds me of it because
There you go.
we're saying that the food is disgusting.
Yes.
Oh,
Very
so
good.
you found
Very
the
good.
Dr.
Remembering that.
Seuss.
So, let's go back to where it was. Pizza crusts and withered greens, soggy beans and tangerines, crusts of black burned buttered toast, gristly bits of beefy roasts. The garbage rolled on down the hall. It raised the roof. It broke the wall. Can you see it happening? How's the figurative language on here? Can you see the garbage piling up? Can you see all the gross foods?
Yeah.
Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum, cellophane from green bologna. Can you see the green bologna now? Rubbery,
I'm
blubbery,
seeing
macaroni, peanut butter caked and dry, curdled milk, crusts of pie, moldy melons, dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard, the cold French fries and rancid meat. You know what rancid means?
Rancid, like old.
It means
like
it's
sour.
Alright.
it's gone bad.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, let's finish the thing. Yellow clumps of cream of wheat. At last the garbage reached so high that it finally touched the sky. Can garbage go so high it's gonna touch the sky? What would that be an example of?
That would be
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole, very nice. the neighbors moved away, and none of her friends would come to play. And finally, Sarah Cynthia said, okay, I'll take the garbage out. But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage reached across the state, from New York to the Golden Gate, and there, in the garbage she did hate, poor Sarah met an awful fate that I cannot right now relate, because the hour is much too late. But children, remember Sarah Stout, and always take the garbage out.
Now I know what you were.
So, can you imagine how embarrassed I was in 3rd grade when I brand new first day of school and the teacher's like, ah, Sarah Stout. I wanted to crawl under my desk and die.
Yeah,
But
also,
now I love it.
why does that remind me of like 2 books? One is like Green Eggs and Ham, and the other one's like The Grinch.
I don't know, because I don't think they're that much
Because
alike.
like, remember the opening where they're like talking about all the food? That's what it reminded me of.
So we can see,
Like-
poor Sarah met an awful fate. What's that an example of?
Of like her defeat, or like how she lost.
An awful fate. What do you think that means? She
Like-
met an awful fate.
She came
She
to a
died.
conclusion.
Oh.
It's a nice way of saying she died. What when we say a nice way of saying something like that, what's that called? Do you remember the
Yes.
rhetorical device?
It was that, it's on the tip of my tongue, I know it.
It starts with an E. Euphemism. She met an awful fate. She died because of the garbage. That's a euphemism. Alright, here's another poem that we're gonna read.
That's why I take out the garbage, I need to take out the garbage.
Yeah, don't be like Sarah's.
I take it
Yeah.
out when I need to.
Anyway,
I don't.
Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Now, when we look at this particular poem, it uses a vernacular that you may not be super familiar with, but it is a vernacular, which means it's a language. It's a spoken language. So, let's see if we can figure it out. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up,
I've heard of this.
and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I's been climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark, where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back, don't you set down on those steps, 'cause you finds it's kinder hard. Don't you fall now, for I's still going, honey, I's still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
We've
Wait,
actually
I
read this
read,
poem.
we read this.
We've read this poem. in
All right.
We read this.
This is by Langston Hughes. If you've read it, can you tell me what it's about?
It's about.
Hold on, David, let David take a turn real
I'm
quick.
pretty sure it's about like the Civil War with women. Or it's about like women.
It is about a woman.
Like, you know,
It's
you know,
about
like,
the mom's life, so
you know,
you've
like
got that.
women have no equal rights at
Okay.
that time.
What do you think, Everett?
It has to do with a African American mother
Okay.
that has been telling her son to not give up because she's saying that her life hasn't been easy and she's gone through a lot of struggle and she is still going. She still hasn't given up. It's pretty much about perseverance.
It is. The theme of this, Amaya, would be perseverance, staying strong despite challenges, despite problems. So she references, life ain't been no crystal stair. She's saying life is not a crystal stair. So what's
She's
that?
comparing it to a
She's
crystal
comparing
stair.
her life to a crystal
That
stair.
would be a metaphor.
Can you imagine a crystal stair where you've got a
Crystal stair would be
staircase
very
that's made
nice.
out of basically glass
Yeah, it would be very
and
nice.
very, very pretty, but super, super delicate and easy to break?
Yeah.
She's saying her life hasn't been easy at all.
Yeah.
So her life has been difficult. It had tacks in it. Do you want to step on tacks?
No.
But she's saying she's had to step on tacks. What kind of what would that be?
That would be a imagery.
Imagery, it could be, or hyperbole.
Imagery as in like, if she's saying that there's tax, then you could like
Yeah, having to
picture how there's tax there or feel how it would felt if
have to step
you
on
stepped
tacks.
on it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And splinters,
Yeah.
where the wood is so decayed and broken that you're stepping on and getting splinters in your feet as you walk.
Little shards of wood going.
Right. And no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I've been a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners. You know what a landing is on a staircase?
A landing is like the end of the stairs.
A landing is on the end of the stairs, or it can be where the stairs turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have sideways stairs, you'll go up and there'll be like a space
Yeah.
where you can stop. She said she's been reaching landings, so she keeps going up the stairs, she'll reach a landing. She'll turn corners, sometimes going in the dark where there's been no light. Is it hard to do things in the dark than it is in the light?
Yeah.
What does light and dark symbolize?
Contrast.
Very good.
The oxymoron.
Yeah, or juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oxymoron is like the opposite.
Good.
Of each other.
And don't you sit down on the steps. What does she mean by don't sit down on the
Don't give
steps?
up.
Don't give up.
Mhm.
Because you'll find it's kinder hard. Don't you fall now. 'Cause I still going, honey. I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. How does it start up here? Amaya?
Life for me is
Life is, yeah, life has
She's trying to
been no
grab
crystal
us.
stair, and she says it again, so she's
Repetition.
repeating it. Why do you think she's repeating it?
it's repetition. People want you to get it through that message through your head.
Do you agree with him? Good. All right. So that's another piece of poetry that we're looking at today. Good job. Here is one of my favorites. It's called Two Roads Diverge in a Yellow Wood by Robert Frost. Anybody want to read it?
Sure.
No? You don't want to read? You want to read it? Go ahead.
Two roads diverging in a yellow wood. And sorry, I could not have traveled both. And be the one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, where it bent in the undergrowth, when took others as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted where through as for
You want me to keep it?
that the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both the morning
Equally.
equally laid back in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first or another days, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I could ever come back. Should ever come back. I shall be telling the truth,
This with a sigh.
this with a sigh, where somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverging in a wood, and I took the ones less traveled by, and that has been all the difference.
All right. So, any idea what the theme of this particular poem would be? Because just like books,
Same thing, how some books are used for read.
Pardon?
Determination or perseverance, a little bit,
it's also about life choices.
yeah,
Have you ever said, I can go this way or this way, and you picked this way,
you know.
and wondered what would have happened if you would have gone that way?
Picking the right road.
So, it's about the life choices that you make. And he said, I took this one because people didn't go on this one. It had a lot of weeds still on the trail. So it's a euphemism for saying,
Imagery.
yeah, they're saying this path, a lot of people didn't go on, he went on this one. But because he went there, now they were the same.
Yeah.
So he could have gone this one, it looked like a lot more people were going on that one, and he went this way, and that kind of made them the same.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people go this route, a lot of people go this route. When he did that, it made them about the same. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Do you usually have the opportunity to go back and make those decisions again?
No, you're not.
Usually once you make a decision, you
can't.
go this way and you can't come back and do that again. For the most part, not always,
That's
but
right.
usually. So that's what it's saying here. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. What does that mean?
Like how.
David, hold on, Everett. Let's let somebody else answer. What do you think? I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence.
Passing it along.
He's gonna be a lot older, right, when he talks about this. 2 roads diverge in a wood, and the roads are the choices. He took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Do you think he's happy with his choice?
Yeah.
To have gone the way he went? It sounds like it. I took the one, and it made all the difference.
You made a big
Wherever it
difference.
took him in his life, whatever that choice was, took him a place that he's proud of and he's happy with. And, you know, like at some point you guys are gonna choose what you wanna do for a job or where you wanna go to college or what you wanna do. All those choices influence everything that happens to you from that step each on. So, epic poetry. Mr. Pastorian said, it's a story of a warrior-like hero's journey and dealing with the gods, told in formal, poetic structure. I'm gonna read a little of it. It's a little confusing, I'll be very honest. Epic poetry is a poem that is lengthy and narrative. What's narrative mean? Storytelling. Thank you, David.
Narrating.
These long, yeah, it's narrative. It's not so much narrating, it's just telling a story. These long poems typically deal extraordinary feats and adventures of characters from a distant past. The word epic comes from the ancient Greek term epos, which means story or word or poem. Okay, so we got a little Greek in there today. Learning another language. It originated from the earliest human civilizations in Europe and Asia.
It's historical.
It's very historical. The Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest surviving example of Greek literature. It was written in 2100 BC. So we've got a poem that's, you know, several thousand years old.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
It tells of ancient King Gilgamesh, a descendant from the gods, who embarks on a journey to discover the secret of immortality. What's immortality mean? Anybody know?
Unable to die. Unable to
Immortality, Logan?
be able to resist
It's hard to
immortality, as in like immortal, meaning that you cheat death.
Never die.
Mhm.
If you're immortal, you'll never die. David probably knows that one really well from all of his movies that he watches, right?
Also, I would like to say something about the Gilgamesh stuff. So, in art, no, not art, in the filming class, we filmed A Hero's Journey, and we named the mentor Gilgamesh.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. So we won't read too much of this, but I just want you to get an idea of what it looks like. This is from Homer's The Odyssey, and Odysseus is the warrior-like hero, and he's trying to get past the Cyclops, which is some kind of monster with one eye, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is
Well,
not my language. At that, he seized the bowl and tossed it off. The heady wine pleased him immensely. More, he demanded a second bowl, a hearty helping. And tell me your name now quickly, so I can hand my guest a gift to warm his heart. Our soil yields to the Cyclops powerful, full-bodied wine, and the rains from Zeus to build its strength. But this is nectar, ambrosia. This flows from heaven. And with that, he toppled over, sprawled full length flat on his back, and lay there, his massive neck slumping to one side, and sleep that conquers all overwhelmed him now as wine came spurting, flooding up from his gullet with chunks of human flesh. He vomited, blind drunk. So this is an epic poem. We're not gonna go into it too far,
These two.
but at least you have an idea
Disgusting.
of what it is. So lastly, the one we're gonna talk about today is a What Am I poem. An I am poem is a type of personal poem which the author describes themselves through a series of prompts. Writing and sharing these are a wonderful way for the author to express themselves and feel known, and the readers to listen and gain insight about their loved ones. Writing these may also help develop self-awareness. What's self-awareness?
being able to know when you're
Just knowing yourself, right? Writing these may also develop self-awareness, a core competency for social emotional development. So it's a foundation for understanding yourself. So we're gonna look at this. All right, see if you guys can figure out what this is. Don't say it out loud, okay? I can be broken down, folded over, expanded, or put together. I can have items placed inside me, all with different variety. I have many shapes and sizes depending on where I'm from. I'm thrown around and placed in trucks, all because of spending bucks. Amazon knows me well, UPS and USPS too. Online shoppers get me at their door a lot as they are filled with happy thought. I am not metal or plastic sheet wrapped, or fabric. I am bendable and thin, but thicker than paper. Will I be at your door next? What am I?
I know.
Am I, you know what it is? Logan, you know what it is?
I do.
Mrs. Jenisic.
Yes, Logan.
I'm just spelling your name. Just spelling your name as the answer.
So do you know what this is?
I do.
Then
I need you to participate, Logan.
I'm already participating. Look at me.
You haven't said anything the whole period. So do you know what this is?
Why? I was just
I do.
using
Everett?
ASL.
Cardboard.
Isn't
Cardboard.
that a problem?
Cardboard making what?
Cardboard, because it's thicker than
I was about to
paper.
say that.
It is
bro.
cardboard, but if it can be broken down, folded over, expanded, I thought it was something else. So not specifically just cardboard. What do you think, David? Do you think it's cardboard?
Yeah.
See, I think it's a box.
Box.
Yeah, a cardboard box.
Why do you
Okay.
always
Specifically a cardboard box. But it could be just cardboard. What do you think, Mr. Pastorian? You think it's cardboard or a box? What was your first thought?
I think a box.
I thought a box too.
Because I'm thinking like one of those like cardboard postal
I
boxes.
thought it was like a package.
Break it down, fold it.
At first
Yeah.
I thought it was a package, but at the bottom it was describing of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like what
No,
texture.
that totally works.
So
They both,
cardboard.
I think they both work, but yours might work a little better than the way I was thinking.
Oh.
Alright,
Okay.
I think that's our last slide. Alright, great. Go ahead and open up your, computers.
Oh,
So you have an assignment. You need to open up on the Canvas page. It's the prose versus poetry assignment. So go ahead and open it up.
And we got
You have 9 minutes. You're typing it out. This is a very quick worksheet, so I can see how well you're doing on what prose and poetry are. So go ahead and open Canvas for today's date. Were you able to get into it?
getting into it now.
All right, let me know. See if you can get into the assignment. What do you need to get it open?
I'm getting it open. Oh my god.
That's not okay.
What? I didn't even do anything.
Logan, respectful language.
Oh, right, Friday is
Exactly
no
what
school.
you
Yep.
I'm trying
Friday
to
is no school. Thank you for pointing that out, David.
That wasn't. That was just nope.
Were you able to get in?
I'm getting it. And is it slides or doc?
It's the
I'm
doc.
setting up
You
my.
wanna open up the doc.
I'm setting up my Chromebook. I already set up my Chromebook earlier.
Oh, I need a request
Your
access.
logic doesn't excuse anything.
Don't have access?
I don't have
I
access.
just. It's just dumb. Are we still like doing the Hugs Club thingy and that veterans assembly?
I don't know. Alright, refresh your page.
Okay.
Play eeny meeny
No.
See if you
miny
can
moe.
access it.
Yeah, I can access.
Make a
Just play-
copy.
Just
So,
play eeny meeny
Amaya,
miny
I know you're
moe,
new to
catch
the
a tiger
classroom.
by its toe.
When we have a Google Doc, you'll go through and you'll hit File. And you'll hit Make a Copy.
Good copy.
And then when you put here, you're gonna put your last name when you make your copy.
Just because of that.
And that way, when I open it up, I know it's yours. Cause sometimes I'll get them and it doesn't say who it belongs
So
to,
I need to replace
or I'll
some-
print them,
I need to put a capital A.
so. So go ahead and start with your name, date, and period at the top. You're gonna go through and read the poem and answer the questions. So you'll tell me if it's poetry or prose. You're gonna highlight the stanzas. You're gonna circle a metaphor, and then you'll write a thesis statement. I'll be coming around with pencils for you.
Yeah, but do you like pencil?
Yeah, you're gonna need it to be able to highlight yellow, blue, and red.
I just opened it. I just set it up.
Oh. You'll actually, sorry, you're on a Google Doc.
I
I
just.
didn't print this out when I
Yeah.
planned on it. So you'll highlight it with your,
Highlighter.
highlighter in your computer. Sorry, thank you.
The tool.
Oh,
You'll use your highlight tool
I'm telling
to
you.
actually highlight.
Oh, they use it.
I already said it at my.
Grammarly's on,
I was
you
already
made a
playing.
mistake.
That's okay, you ignore it.
Uh,
You can turn it off for
Pulled out
this.
my laptop
Okay.
earlier. I would have told you.
23 was.
She thinks I'm not participating.
No, you did.
Graham.
Go
Graham,
ahead.
yeah.
Here.
Do I make? What's the point of doing
Nope,
that if she's
go back
gonna
into
tell
the-
me, if she's doing,
Go
Go
to the
into the
original.
post
Tell
office
me
directory
those
for
ones
today,
next.
Wednesday.
That's what you have to do.
And then
It's
you're
an
gonna go to the
excuse
Google
for
Doc.
logic, just because I'm setting that up doesn't mean she has
Alright,
to
and
use
now
her
you're going to
random
go to
logic
file.
to randomly just
Make a copy,
point out what I'm doing.
put your last name before
Wait,
prose
Everett, you
versus
see the
poetry.
screen?
So, if you take off the title, just put, prose versus poetry, and that way I know it's what assignment it's for.
Go ahead and get started.
Poetry.
And then just go ahead and get done as much as you possibly can.
So why not? Explain your
I just said last name.
Last name, and then just, PVP, it'll be fine.
You can start.
I'll know it's what it is. And then just start going through, you're gonna read the poem and answer the questions.
Grilled cheese egg sandwich.
I could look it up for grilled cheese. Panera has really good grilled cheese sandwiches. Everett, are you working on it?
Yeah. It's actually right here, so.
Okay.
Relax.
What?
Please, and relax. Frustrating. Don't think I can fix that. And I can't go back there to get one.
It's like. I know what this is.
So the first poem after you read it has 4 questions.
Did you just say poem?
I didn't. I did not say it.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
The second piece of literature, David, has 4 questions. The third piece of literature just has 3. And the last one is you writing your own Who Am I poem. You only have about 3 minutes. I will give you 10 minutes at the first of the period tomorrow to finish this. But if you don't think you can get it done in 10 minutes tomorrow, go ahead and work on it for homework. Or, because we don't have intervention today. Yeah, so. But you'll only have about 10 minutes at the beginning of the period tomorrow. It's up to you. You can get it done in 10 minutes. And the last 3 minutes that we have now, when you are done, you're submitting it into Canvas.
Good thing we have a 3-day weekend.
It is a lovely thing that we have a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, because I can relax a bit. Get my homework done. You ever have that feeling like you ever have that like feeling like you wanna go home and just relax and then make a sandwich?
Yes, I do
Yeah.
understand that feeling of wanting to go home and relax and make a sandwich. That
Yeah.
sounds,
You
I
know
had to
what?
do that yesterday, because I was home.
You know what I made?
Sandwich.
I made a grilled cheese egg. Grilled cheese egg.
Those are yummy, for
I can
sure.
make
I
grilled
haven't made an egg sandwich in forever.
Now I'm wondering, what if I make a breakfast grilled cheese? You know, like egg, definitely a hint chance. That kind of stuff.
You guys have about a minute to be done. How much did you get
More like
done? So you might wanna stay home, start working on it for homework. Amaya, how far did you get?
And it's just for them.
Also, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right there.
Did you get to read the second poem?
No, I just
The first one?
stopped. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Logan, you have to participate in the class. That's part of being in class is participating.